going on, guys? Welcome back to the Wave. I'm over here now. I'm on the other side. I was blocking the scoreboard, so I was like, let me move my camera. But welcome back to the Wave, like I said, and let's go ahead and just jump into the game fours. Yeah, it's gonna be not short, but we're gonna have a good discussion here. So the first game we had was Oklahoma City versus Minnesota, and this series has been a little one-sided. Minnesota has not really they're matched up well against them. It's just Oklahoma City is just they're coming to play, and it's not really looking good for Minnesota. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we saw. We saw Shea. He had a 40 bomb, 40 points in 40 minutes, 30 shots. 14 free throws with 10 assists. He was really generating offense out there. He was the main engine. Jalen Williams again with another big game, 34 on 13 for 24 shooting, over 50%. He had 6 threes, 5 assists, 3 steals. That's a great lineup out there. Chet with 21 and 7. So the starters, there was 3 starters who really came. Lou Dort, he had a plus minus of a positive 4 with only 4 points. So he was really playing some great D out there. He was like glue on Anthony Edwards, and it was pretty noticeable. The bench with 27 altogether. A good outing for the team in terms of everybody scoring. They could have seen a little bit more from Hartenstein, maybe a little bit more from even a little bit more from Lou Dort, a little bit in terms of offense, but he still did what he had to do out there. Alex Caruso off the bench was huge. He did have 3 fouls, but his 10 points were pretty loud. They shot 50% from the field, over 43% from 3. And it was a pretty standard game for them. A little turnover heavy, a little bit for them with 14, but they still won the turnover battle with a 6 turnover advantage against Minnesota. Let's go ahead and look at Minnesota. Let's see what's going on. We had Julius Randle again. Like he played really well in the playoffs so far, but the last 2 games he's been a little not even 2 games. The last 3 games two of his last 3 games have been pretty not so good. He had 5 with 5 turnovers. He really wasn't efficient out there. Wasn't really that aggressive. He only took 7 field goals. McDaniels had a great game, 22. With 3 threes, he was doing everything he had to do out there. Gobert with 13 and 9. Mike Conley with some big buckets as well. Seeing that he's not really the main scoring option, and Anthony Edwards was a little inefficient out there as well. 5 for 13, 16 points. They only combined for 21, while Jalen Williams and Shea Gilgeous, they combined for almost 80. So obviously your 2 stars are not giving you enough off in terms of firepower. The bench really showed out. Every guy that came off the bench scored at least 2 field goals. 9 points from Shannon Jr. and 23, which was the team high up from Alexander Walker off the bench. He had a great match. He really was keeping the game completely close, which we're going to take a look at in a moment. And DiVincenzo as well. He had some big threes, and again, it was just Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle. If there was a little bit more from those 2, this was a game Minnesota could have walked away with and even the series. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the footage to see like what went wrong and how and where Minnesota went wrong. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we saw out there. Give me 1 second. I always like to make sure it plays in half speed. Let's go ahead and take a look. So after a McDaniels layup at the rim, you see it's a 5-point game. We come back down. Edwards has the ball. He dishes it to McDaniels, who's having a great match. He takes Holmgren off the bounce, hits him with a spin move going right, finishes strong, but Holmgren has to, he denies that. And it's a close match, like we said. We come down the floor. Nothing really materializes. We see that, Minnesota gets the ball back to get a stop. Offensive rebound, kick it to the corner. McDaniels hits a big 3. It's a 2-point game. And now this is Oklahoma City's game to win, as they have the ball, 1 possession left. And obviously they send them to the free throw line where, obviously Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is going to try to ice the game out. You know, he took 14 free throws, which was insane. And we see him knock that one down, and as we go for the second one, he knocks the second one, makes it a 5-point game. 4-point game, I'm sorry. So now we run the action. DiVincenzo, he catches in the corner, attacks, off the bounce, gets a finish. He misses, and Gobert is able to clean it up. No foul. Oklahoma City does what they're supposed to do. No give up, no threes, and yeah. So now let's go ahead and take a look. Shea, he gets the ball. We're expecting him to get the ball. He's the one going to the free throw line. They send him to the free throw line. Let's go ahead and take a look at him at the free throw line, where he's 9 for 10 in the game. Let's see, he goes. He's gonna knock this first one down, and as he gets his second one, let's go ahead and just kind of. This one is the kind of one where it rims out, giving Minnesota a chance to actually like fight for the game. They don't run down. They don't let them just try to get it themselves. They call a timeout, try to get a good look. And we can see, the Nasri gets it on the wing, corner wing. I think they send him to the free throw line because they're like, no threes, don't give up any threes. He makes both of them, so now it's a 1-point game. And again, it's just a free throw contest. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander goes to the free throw line, and he knocks down both. It's now a 3-point game. Minnesota, no timeouts. They're like, we're gonna just run down, try to get a shot. Anthony Edwards, they foul him in the backcourt. They send him to the free throw line, where he's slowly building his lead. It's a 1-point game. It's a 1-possession game. He goes in for the free throw. Obviously, he misses, and they don't grab the rebound. There's no foul call. They launch it out of bounds. There's still time on the clock, but again, it's nothing really. They can't really get anything going, and that's the series right there. It's definitely a winnable game for Minnesota, but just execution at the end, free throws. Oklahoma City just handling business. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander handling business, and yeah, I mean that's all she wrote. That's how the game ended, and let's go ahead and jump into the next one. All right, and the final game for Game 4 was the New York Knicks, Indiana Pacers. Again, another brutal loss for the New York Knicks. And where do we start? There was nothing. I'm gonna go ahead and just get it out of the way now. The refs, I'm not gonna say that they threw the game or anything, but the Knicks, it was pretty even. The Knicks had 27 fouls, Pacers had 27 fouls, but there was one stretch where the Knicks had 5 fouls in a row. Something to call out. It's a topic of conversation. That's not the reason the Knicks lost. Let's go ahead and take a look. Mikal Bridges, he had 17, but his 17 was very, very inefficient. He did have four threes. He shot 80% from 3, but his attacks, some of his shot selection in the game was just left a lot to be desired. OG Anunoby, he had 22. He started the game very rough, and he went 7 for 16. He only had 1 3, and that 1 3 was like he was smothered, and he kind of like not even a heave, but like he just kind of shot it like, I got to get rid of this, and he made it. That was the 1 3 he did make. Karl Anthony, he played pretty decently, 24 on 12. He did have an injury scare. He's been grabbing that left knee a lot this series. They started Mitchell Robinson. He wasn't really that effective out there. In fact, it was. I think they should start looking into a new lineup. Maybe bring Hart back out, because Robinson was good for the change of pace. But if we're going for like an offensive style, he's not going to be too effective out there. I mean, Hart came off the bench, but he had 36 minutes. So Mitchell Robinson is starting, but it's, and Brunson, again, he had 31, 9 for 19. He had a few threes, 3 turnovers, 3 fouls. He played decent, but the lineups he was there and out there was just getting outscored. And Josh Hart off the bench, like we said, he had 12 and 11, another double-double for him. Saw the appearance of Dylan Wright, Landry Shamet, They gave a lot off the bench. They've been given a lot off the bench. They've been the two spark plugs that the bench has needed in this series. Again, the starters. You might be like, how did the Knicks lose? I mean, they gave up 121, but they gave up 100. They put up 121. They gave up 130. Let's go ahead and take a look at what was going on. Again, we have Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam is making a run and an argument that he's one of the most. He could be one of the most versatile players. I think he could play on like almost any team. They keep saying it, but they really don't run plays for this guy. They really don't. He doesn't have a set where he literally catches the ball. He's crazy in transition. His moves going into the basket are elite. Like, he rarely gets blocked. He's a great shooter from the wing. His post game is elite. Yeah, teams are gonna be like trying to grab that guy. Like, he's pretty good. Neesmith again with 16. He had that ankle injury and he came out looking pretty good. Miles Turner with 13. He fouled out, but he still gave 13 and 3 rebounds. Surprisingly low for his rebounds, seeing that he's one of the bigger guys out there. Nembhard, he played not too well, very inefficient, 1 for 9. He's been dealing with that a lot in the last couple games where I've seen him stand in the corner, just not really involved in the offense and stuff like that. Therese Halliburton was the man of the hour, honestly. He had a near triple-double stat line by the half. And he ended the game with a triple-double, 32, 12, and 15, and 0 turnovers. 15 assists, 0 turnovers. Like, he had one of the best games of his career. Obi Toppin, he only had 5, one off a lob. He had a lob, and he had the dagger, which we're going to take a look at in a second. McConnell, Bradley, they did their thing. Mathurin, I know we've been getting on Mathurin's case for just not being effective out there, and having some poor games. He came back and he had a bounce back game. Went to the free throw line 11 times. He had 20 points, 2 assists, no turnovers. Pretty decent game out there for him. And yeah, it's a lot. Indiana is just a lot of firepower. Siakam's 30 and Halliburton's 30. With the addition of 16 and 13 from Neesmith and Turner respectively, that was enough to take him over the edge and give him that 9-point difference. And now both teams, Minnesota and New York, are in statistical jail. And yeah, it's not looking good. Again, Knicks in 7. We're gonna go down until the wheels fall off on that, but it's not looking too good for New York out there. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look and see what we saw out there. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the New York Knicks Pacers. I moved the screen so you guys can see it. You guys already saw that already. Whatever, blah blah blah. Let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so we have the Knicks down 9 with 4 minutes to go. Mikal Bridges, with the pass from Brunson. He's he's dribbling over trying to find something. Pick and roll with Cat. Mikal Bridges just dribbles into his spot, passes it out. Now it's a one-on-one up top. There's a bunch of space. Brunson attacks going left, going left, spin back going right. Kicks it out to Bridges, who finds the open space. And this is one of his 4 threes that he knocked down. Big shot. He had a big shot. So now we're in the 6-point game. It's 2 possessions. This game is not over. Halliburton brings it down. We'll see what the Indiana Pacers decide to do. So we have Naismith. He comes, sets the pick and roll. Halliburton just attacks downhill. And again, he just gets to the basket, just one move. Doesn't really do too much, nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy. Just one move to the basket and go. Now, let's go ahead. Now we just jump. It was a bunch of fouling and not really much basketball being played. And this was honestly the shot that put the game away. Once this shot went in, I think everybody kind of felt that the game was over. And quite frankly, that might have been the shot that put the series away, and especially in a mental for New York, the fan base. Again, Halliburton, 32, 12, 15, no turnovers. Like, literally a historic game. First ever with a 30, 10, 15, 0. And yeah, Halliburton was just doing his thing out there. And that's really the story. We can go ahead and look at maybe a little bit more, kind of, take a look at some of the other things we saw out there. Like, we could even jump back to, it was a 10-point game with 4 minutes to go. Mathurin, again, he wasn't having the best series, but, He makes the right read, passes it. Siakam Euro steps, finishes with the left hand with, no foul. Just a tough bucket out there. It was just not really much coming from the Knicks. Indiana was just going on a lot of runs during this game. Again, we have Mathurin. He makes the right read. He says, "I'm going to kick it out." And Pascal Siakam, he had 30. And that was this is kind of the story of the game. A lot of runs from Indiana, like we said. The Knicks did find some offense, and again, this was a shot I was referring to, where it kind of looked like Anunoby, he wasn't having the best shooting night, and he kind of just had to let one go, and he knocked it down. It came in a big time, but he wasn't really efficient out there scoring, and it was New York. They just could not kind of piece this one together. Even there were periods of time where the Pacers were going kind of cold from offense, but they would just kind of get right down the lane and just make easy layups like that. So again, the Knicks on defense this night was very not attentive to detail, not aggressive enough, and that kind of sums up how they ended up losing. They gave up 30, they gave up 130 points, and 120 is a good scoring, but if you play some defense, this game would be a little bit different. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on the Wave. Covered Game 4s. It's just been a great conference finals. I do want to put a disclaimer. I may not be able to cover the Game 5s and maybe Game 6 because I will be on vacation. So if that does occur, I'll make a post. I'll let the community know if there will be a video or not. This Game 4, in all honesty, let's be quite frank, there's nothing that I haven't already said in Game 1, 2, 3, 4 that wouldn't apply to Game 5, potentially 6, 7, And both teams are in statistical jail, so quite frankly speaking, this series shouldn't go more than 5 or 6. If it does go to 7, that would make for some entertaining basketball. I think I'd be able to cover the 6 or the 7, but anyway, we'll get to that. Like I said, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on the Wave. I've been your host, Coach Andre, and I want to thank you again. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, ciao. I'll see you later.